Welcome back to WD Magiccast for the week of April 6th, 2025. I'm your host, Matthew Gregan. Across from me is Dave Gallman. How you doing? I think you're on this side of the screen.
And, I could never figure out that mirror stuff, so whatever. I'll just point where I think you are, and we'll go from there.
There we go. So welcome back to the new version of WD Magiccast. We're back yet again. And make sure to check us out on all the social networks so you keep up with what's going on and when new episodes are posted. We are pretty much everywhere at WD Magiccast. And make sure you like and subscribe to these videos here. Give a little thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell, get the notifications when new episodes drop. And chat along. Put something in the comments and any questions that you have, and we will be glad to answer them either in the chat or here on the show. So let's get down to news. We get not lighter week on the news this week.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Tron Ares, the first trailer for the third Tron movie, which will be coming out on October 10th of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get a chance to check that one out?
I checked the trailer. It looks good. I mean, I'm not the biggest Tron guy. I'm pretty sure I watched the original. I'm more than likely sure I didn't see the second one.
You know what? To be honest, I enjoyed the second one. There was more story to the second one. I mean,
okay.
It's not as world involving, I think, as I don't know. It's like weird parallels, but I thought they did a nice job with the second one.
That's what I heard. The comments and a lot of because in the Ares, the comments in there was like that was the most underrated movie when it came out. Like people actually loved it, but for whatever reason it took 13 years for a sequel to come out. So
Star Wars, Dave. Star Wars.
I know.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Oh.
But I thought it looks pretty solid. I mean, you really get no sense of anything other than the computer world and the real world have kind of merged, which is where we left off in the second movie. Spoiler alert, sorry, Dave.
Oh.
And but I think it looks quite promising. Visually, it looks stunning.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not the hugest Jared Leto fan, but I'm not going to hold that against the movie either. Jeff Bridges does return, so we shall see.
Yep.
Speaking of waiting and seeing, in a much closer time period, on May the 4th of this year, we will have Star Wars. Speaking of Star Wars, Tale of the Underworld. And
yes.
I believe it's Ventress and Cad Bane are the...
Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress. This one I said I was looking forward to the Tales of the Empire, but I think, I don't know, Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss Offee didn't draw me into it. I think he had the
strongest choice.
Yeah, we're the two strongest characters, but having Ventress and Cad Bane, this is going to be phenomenal.
Once I saw that it was Ventress as one of the characters, and then I saw Cad Bane immediately afterwards. Like now, you got me interested. I'm watching at work, so I don't have the volume up. I can only kind of slightly pay attention, but I saw those two. I'm like, you have my interest already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like now we're talking. But real quick before we move on, did you Star Wars Celebration is coming in Japan April 18th through the 20th, if I saw that correctly. I'm wondering. I know we're not going.
We don't have that kind of budget, Dave. Unless if someone wants to sponsor us, we don't have that kind of budget.
Hey, there we'll go. But I'm wondering what kind of news is going to drop out of here. So that's going to be let's wait and see what we get out of it.
Because we know there's projects in the works.
Yeah. Exactly.
So what will we learn from this? I mean, obviously they're going to give us something.
Yeah, teasers and whatnot.
Yeah, this is in the works. This is coming. The only one I could guarantee, besides some books and some comics, because that's always maybe a video game, would be Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But I I don't know how far along they are in production in that. But they'll give us something from Mandalorian, something new that we haven't seen before. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I mean, they won't make this announcement there. At least I don't think so. But I was watching a YouTube video before we got on, and they were speculating that all the roads are leading to Filoni making what we've all wanted from day one, was the Heir to the Empire movie. Now, I don't know, did the sequel trilogy, affect how the Heir to the Empire could be made? Because didn't Luke have like twins, or Leia had twins, but we only know of
yeah,
the one kid. We don't. I'm blanking. Thank you, Kylo Ren. Oh my god, that's how much I hated the sequel trilogy. I forgot the bad guy's name.
Ben Solo.
Ben Solo, right? But they only mentioned him. They didn't mention, But not that they have to go by the book, by page, but you know what I mean. It's some things will have to be tweaked.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that they didn't touch on in the sequel trilogy that can be left up into a lot of different interpretations. Well, they never mentioned that he was a twin at all, that there was another one. They never mentioned any of that stuff. So, is he a twin? Because it would be weird to go back, well, no, he is actually a twin, and this is what was actually happening, because there was no mention of it. But not only was there no mention that he is a twin, there was no mention that he absolutely wasn't a twin. So would you be able to kind of tweak that? Yeah. Would it be kind of weird? Yeah. Would people kind of hopefully move on for it? Maybe. Was there any mention of Mara Jade and Luke's relationship or anything with Luke? And absolutely not.
Nope.
Even whenever you get some of the stuff into the Mandalorian, they don't touch on that so much. So is there room that they could go maybe that route? You kind of can. Because in the books series 2 that Luke has kids. So I mean, there's the possibility of, there's a lot of different possibilities. So
I mean, I for one would love to see it, because they're in that world. They have everything on Ahsoka, everything is leading, Admiral Thrawn, everything is leading towards it. So, I would almost rather have the other Empire than the Mando Grogu movie, because who knows how that's going to come out.
Watch your mouth.
But is it going to be? Is the Mando Grogu movie going to feel like a series that we should be watching on Disney Plus as opposed to a movie? I don't know. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't feel. I'm not that excited to watch it on the big screen because I'm so used to watching it as a series.
Right. And in all fairness, that is true. That is a good point. But we haven't seen anything yet. Sure. So it's hard to make that kind of judgment call now when we haven't seen anything.
Right. Exactly.
So if they, ideally, what would be great is if they can go back to the feel of the first season.
Yes.
If they can put the feel of the first season onto the big screen with the storyline and everything that's going on now, but give us that kind of raw and a little grittier and untamed feeling. I think it would be amazing. And one of my biggest critiques of the second and third series, particularly the third one, is that it was starting to get a little too clean, a little too nicely cut. It lost its grit. It was no longer the Wild West Western type of feel that the original one had. It's more of just a Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
I mean, not to saying Citizen Kane's bad, but it's just more that cleaner, the polish. The characters are just a lot more organized, and it wasn't untamed. It wasn't as like gritty and just kind of like, out here, it's either eat or be eaten.
Mm-hmm.
That type of deal. So, we shall see. And like I said, it's way
early. Yeah. No, I get it.
Do you, Dave?
Do you? I think. Not really, but it is what it is. I get it. Hey, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of Star Wars fans out there that are like, what?
And you fanboys are the ones that kill everything.
That's not true. If it's good, we like it. Watch, Andor. Write it down. I'm gonna love Andor.
The 7th of April in the year of our Lord 2025 at 10:46 p.m.
I won't say one negative thing about Andor season 2.
David Gallman, being of sound mind and body.
That's right.
And sober. Said he will have nothing
but
to complain about regarding Andor season 2, correct?
Season 2, that's correct.
Are we talking on part or on whole?
The whole overall series of season 2. All 12 episodes, right? 12, yeah. I think, yeah.
All right. And Dave, next time you're over, I'm having you sign this. I'll find a notary.
And hold me to that.
Yes.
All right. What else we got?
What else we got? We got Destination D23.
Okay.
Destination D23, which is the alternate to the D23 event in California. This is the one that takes place in Florida. This year will be taking place August 29th through the 31st, 2025 at Disney's Coronado Springs at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, in case you were wondering where that was. Tickets will be going on sale to D23 Gold members on the 14th of April at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 10 a.m. Pacific Time. There's a lot of stuff hasn't been announced. There's a number of things depending on your ticket level and everything that will be included. Details to that is all online at the D23 website. Beyond that, some cruise news. We don't usually touch on Carnival, but we will be touching Carnival in this. They have named their next 2 ships. Supposedly this is names that go back within the history of the company.
So it's not just Royal Caribbean that comes out with new ships?
No. Carnival once in a while decides to put out a new ship. MSC has launched the World. MSC World has made its way to its home port of Miami, Florida. But the Carnival has announced that their next 2 ships will be the Carnival Festival and the Carnival Tropical, which will be debuting in 2027, 2028, respectively. They will have similar features to their other sister ships in the XL class, which includes the Mardi Gras, the Celebration, and the Jubilee, but they're not going to be identical. So there is going to be some differences, but they will be relatively similar to the in-class, those in-class ships, which are some of the largest ones in the Carnival fleet at this time. They also promised additional, 3 or 4 ships coming out after this, which will be a whole new class of ship that they're working on. No real details, no names or anything other than to expect them, I think, in like 2029, 2032, somewhere out there from now.
Yeah. Well, the cruising business is booming. They're pumping out these ships like crazy.
People like us keep going on them, so why not?
Exactly. Yeah, who wants to go on like a ship from the 1990s or something or 2000? I like the friend.
There's still people out there who insist on going on the older, smaller ships because they're older, smaller, and more intimate and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I can't blame you with that. And those ships can do different itineraries and have access to other ports that the newer, larger mega ships do not. So, there is perks to them.
Yeah.
Which is why some of the cruise lines have announced that they are like Disney or Royal Caribbean have announced that they are going to be making a new series of ships that are smaller. So it appeases the people who want the smaller ships.
And because not everybody wants to spend a week with 7,000 people. So,
well, yeah, because the newest the little notes I read about the upcoming class of ships for Carnival, 8,000 people.
Wow.
8,000.
I don't even. I mean, I didn't look at the numbers, but with the Icon or Star, do you know what the off the top of your head, like what can go on there? I don't think it's that. No.
Well, let's just go on Wonder here. Wonder 7,000.
Okay, so I would assume it's more.
So Icon, I believe, was over 8. So yeah. So I mean, yeah, the ships are
7,600 passengers at maximum occupancy for the Icon.
Right.
So there's that. Okay.
I still don't have that article open at this time.
But I've always, I've stated it in the past, and ships that large though, with that many people, there's so many activities that it doesn't feel like you're on a vacation with 8,000 people because they're all spread out amongst the ship. Can it get crowded in certain areas? Yes, but overall, it feels spread out and not congested, but whatever.
Yeah, Project Ace is what the new ships are being classified as under at this time. Will hold as many as 8,000 passengers each at full capacity, with the first slated to be delivered in 2029. And plus they're looking to be investing it in another private destination somewhere else. So they're working on things as well. And speaking of working on things, this past weekend was the media on April 6th. Was the media preview for Epic Universe's Epic. And it was fairly well attended. And we get our first live views, up-to-date views. I don't know what's the best way to phrase this, but the first views of the newest theme park to open stateside. So you get a chance to check any of this out, Dave?
We did. I did. And when I say we, because me and my daughter were checking it out because I'm pretty sure she has a vested interest in wanting to go there eventually. And
she wants to play with Donkey Kong.
Exactly. She it looks fantastic. And this is going to Disney's still going to draw. But this may take some people away from Disney just for a year or two or whatever, just because of the newness of this and the allure of it, because it looks phenomenal.
Well, absolutely. Anything new that the one competitor does versus the other will always pull away from the competition for a time period. It will be, the most talked about, the most hyped, the most visited, or it will pull in large numbers, and then there's the curve will die down and it will return back to the mean, which will kind of be resetted by it because now there's new numbers, but it will balance out eventually, a few years down the road. Which everyone critiques Disney, but also to their proper planning is that they're not opening something big now, because whatever they're opening big now would have to compete against Epic. And
right.
Unless if it was another theme park, you're not doing that.
Well, here's the question: Does Disney have property somewhere in the vicinity of where they are, where they can build a new theme park like they did?
Disney's got enough property for at least 2 or 3 more theme parks.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know because you got all the swampland and stuff over there, so I'm not sure. I wasn't sure what was buildable.
Yeah, they have room for. I forget whenever they did the Reedy Creek switch over to the Florida Tourism Bureau, where they released a findings report of space for multiple theme parks of varying sizes. So you had a couple that would be like water park size, and then you have, I think, 2 or 3 more proper full parks. I mean, remember, Disney World, as full as it is 42.5 acres. It is twice the size of the island of Manhattan.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it's a lot bigger than most people realize. So there is a percentage of land that is dedicated as untouchable. There's part of that land is also undevelopable.
Right.
But there is plenty parts of that land that they're able to still build on.
Now, if Epic Universe is a thriving success, brings in millions of dollars, blah blah blah, does that put a fire under Disney to say, hey, maybe we should do what they did to spark interest to come back instead of just renaming or re-IPing, rides and stuff like that? Maybe, we're going to come up with something big to draw the crowds back.
I know nothing. I don't have any connections. I do not have, a microphone in Bob Iger's office.
I'm just asking your opinion, Matthew.
I wouldn't be surprised if they already have. Well, that they have, but that they aren't doubling down on what to do next, which would include, do we do a 5th gate? Is something that I've toiled with and talked about, and there's been rumors that's come, it's going to do this, they're not doing this, they're doing this, they're not doing this. I'm going to go on a little bit of a limb here and just say historically, I wouldn't be surprised because this has happened in the past. So we know in the Magic Kingdom, they're building the little car section.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole project of Beyond the Magic Kingdom that they're building. What, Dave?
What's it? The Villain's Land or something?
The Villain's Land. Yes.
There you go. You got it. Pop quiz. I passed.
Yes. So let's go back a little bit here let's go back to one of the best decades ever, Dave. The 1980s.
Yes.
And we have Epcot, and they are expanding Epcot, and they are opening, want to put in, they have the expansion pads that's going to put in pavilions and stuff. And one of those pavilions was the movie pavilion. And around that time, whenever they are working on the movie pavilion, Universal goes, we are building a property in Florida. And next thing you know, you have Michael Eisner go, oh yeah, we're building another park too. We're building one based on the movies.
What was that?
And
MGM?
they take the pavilion from Epcot and make it into Hollywood Studios or Disney MGM Studios.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised. And like I said, I know nothing. That there's no guarantee. No one has said anything. There's no hints at this. I am just going on a pure let's look historically. Universal opened a theme park in Florida. Disney took what they said was going to be expansion to one park and made it into a park in itself.
Yeah.
What are the chances that the villain's land
Oh, the Villain Lands becomes its own little
becomes a villain's theme park.
Yeah. That would be fire, man. That would be cool. Yeah. I'd be down for that. You got so much.
Like I said, I have no evidence that this is completely, speculation, armchair Imagineer.
Mhm.
But if you kind of weigh things and look at, this is how things happened 30 years ago.
Right.
And here we are in a similar situation. Universal just opened up this crazy theme park.
Yep. You got to compete with it.
Disney's already developing this little land section off the Magic Kingdom. And we know that they're tight on space there.
Mm-hmm.
Why not blow it up?
Yeah. Go back to the drawing board and come up with a grander plan.
Right.
Yeah. That would make sense. Because, again, they would have to compete with that. And not just for 1 or 2 years. They got to compete with that from here on out.
Right. And I don't think a land is the answer.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly.
And if you really want to get something that's going to be in depth, that you could theme the heck out of, your villains. I mean, people just would go crazy over that.
Mm-hmm.
Forget the Monsters Land, the classic Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
You get a park on Disney villains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be wild. Absolutely wild. Yeah. All right. So going back to Epic.
Disney would be dropping the mic and going, "Here, Universal, hold my beer. hold my Dole Whip."
There you go. From what you saw at Epic Universe, anything catch your eye? Can't wait to see that. Whatever.
Very, very impressed with the land of the Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
The French town village, the whole facade there.
Yeah.
That was quite large, quite detailed. It didn't look as cartoony as the other ones. This was very much more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And just had a very substantial feel to it.
Right.
One of the things I noticed in one of the videos, and maybe it was the video and the angle that this person was filming from, because I didn't see anyone else. I watched a few videos, hit this point, but the one person, whatever, they were walking up to the monsters,
Mm-hmm.
and they were looking into the porthole. Because obviously you could see through the portal. I mean, there's no.
Right. But that is a cool little thing, though, because you got the center part, and then you got all the portals that go into each realm. So that's kind of cool. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. So you're looking through there, and you can't see anything else around there. You just look into the land. You can't see the rest of the land through there.
Right.
The angle that she was looking in, I'm like, oh. How they did the color palette to the whole thing, it looks like it's black and white.
That's cool. Yeah.
She was if you're facing the portal, she was standing to the left of it. Anyone that I saw coming from the right of it, there was a green tree. It killed that illusion. I'm like, if that was an intent, I hate to say things, I know nothing happens by accident. So if that was the intent, that you visually looks like you're walking into something that's black and white, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's cool though.
So yeah, the dragons, which is the largest of the lands, is quite impressive with the details. You have all the dragons going about and walking around of different mediums. So you have ones that people are in costumes, and then you have the free roaming animatronic ones.
Yeah.
And then you have the fixed place animatronic ones that are causing mischief and stuff going on. So everything about this park is very kinetic, meaning there's things always moving. There's a lot of life to it.
Yeah.
A lot of moving, a lot of sounds, visuals, and like I said, audibles. There's a lot of things.
The colors,
The colors,
like
the color
Mario,
palettes, the sizing,
Super
the
Mario,
scaling, the
the Super
detailing.
Nintendo area with all the the reds and the yellows or whatever. It pops, man. And then you go up the escalator in the green tube and you hear the like you're going down that sound and stuff. Oh, dude, it looks awesome.
That being said, if you are someone that's easily overwhelmed by things, that is something to take in mind, and try however you need to prepare yourself to be dealing with heightened sensory capacity, because there's a lot that they are hitting you with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's quite large.
Well, speaking of large too, the rides look like, okay, so like they built Tron. Tron was like a 10-second ride. It's over. A lot of the coasters on here, they actually look like, not that they're not going to be over in 10 seconds. They look lengthy. I'm not saying you're going to be on a coaster for 5 minutes, but it looks like it goes for a little bit. So in other words, if you got to wait online for 90 minutes to get on the thing, you're not going to be done in 10 seconds. You're going to,
right.
Which is what I like. They did it right.
Well, yes. Yeah. The Disney definitely dropped the ball with Tron.
Yeah.
Guardians, they didn't.
No,
Tron,
no.
Didn't.
Yeah.
That is one thing, and I'm worried about, and I'm not talking about the coasters.
Mm-hmm.
So no one could film on any of the rides, like the coasters, which are outdoors. You could obviously film the coasters going by.
Yeah.
But like the Harry Potter, the Battle at the Ministry, Monsters Unchained, the Mario Kart. It's the same Mario Kart in all the other parks.
Yeah.
But any of the rides you couldn't film on. You could film the queue line.
Mm. The
Harry Potter queue line. No one said exactly, but it looks like you probably walk a good mile and a half.
Bring your comfy shoes.
Yes, because, and this is just from the media day, the length of video, and I really should have timed this out. If I was smarter, I would have done this. When I was bringing this up as a point. From the point that you enter and to the point that you get to the pre-show, and even after the pre-show, there's still a bit of a walk. Is quite lengthy when there was no crowd.
Yeah.
And if you look at the video, the amount of switchbacks that there are for this thing kind of makes me nervous. Because it is a large cavernous building that they built this beautiful, beautiful scenic, like you're inside the Harry Potter ministry from the original movies. And it is breathtaking and amazing. But how long is that line going to be that you are in there, and it's just going to be?
Yeah. Well, Pandora? Doesn't Pandora at Animal Kingdom do that too? It might have just been because I was waiting for 3 hours to get on that ride way back in the day. But to me, that one felt like it took forever to get up to the actual ride.
Well, and it does, but the one thing with Pandora is that you're going from small room to small room to small room.
Right. Yeah.
So you always have, you have something to look at it either way.
Right.
But at no point are you fully aware of the amount of line ahead of you.
Exactly. That's my point. And it kept going and going.
This one, you're not aware of the amount of line ahead of you, but you see a massive line around you.
Yeah.
So you there are moments that you condense down, but there's other gathering points that it is a large space with, like I said, several.
Yeah. We know who's not going there. I mean,
Exactly.
You gotta, well, I think they call it express pass. You gotta express pass that bad boy.
Oh yeah. So at least in the initial years, while the line is still massive on that, that is going to be, you need to pack your patient pants.
Yeah, big time, big time.
With that, because it's going to take, it will take some time to get through that queue. The Monsters Unchained, I'm thinking is going also has a massive queue line.
Yeah.
But any of the videos I saw, unfortunately, their journey through to that Monsters Unleashed is was cut short because the ride was having some technical issues because it's still technical rehearsals and they're still working out all the kinks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, much like Frankenstein, it took several tries to get the things going right.
It'll be a well-oiled machine by the time it opens in May. Don't worry.
Absolutely.
But I did ask you before. We said we'll save it for the show, but we know it opens in May 22nd. Yes. Who is there? And they had the press day. Is there anybody there now? Who's attending the park from now till then, or like what's the state of the park? Are they still fine tuning it to get it ready for the opening, or like what what do you know?
Nothing. No. What often happens is you have the main big media day, then you have some smaller media days after that. You'll probably also still have employee previews going on at that point. Then you open it up to your annual pass holders.
So they'll get like the early advanced. Yep, gotcha.
Sponsors, and then you do. It's the end of May, so we're probably also not far off from.
Ooh, that's before the Memorial Day weekend too. Ooh.
Yeah, selected guests.
Mm-hmm.
Will have access to purchase tickets and go visit there as well. So, like I remember when Disney opened up Animal Kingdom, I got to go. We went there on vacation. We were staying there, and they were doing a soft opening for the Animal Kingdom. So my parents and I got to go to the Animal Kingdom ahead of its opening. So a few months ahead of its opening.
Yeah.
So we were able to experience that before the park as guests.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be doing stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So the park's not going to be closed. They're going to keep pumping people through it.
Yeah.
And now a lot of the NDAs are being lifted. We're going to start seeing more videos and more reviews and takes and pictures and stuff. A lot of that's going to be starting to come out.
Yeah.
Without 300 plus employees of Universal getting fired.
Right. Exactly. The first video I saw was like the one guy, I guess he works there, and he was just like, "Welcome. Take as many videos and pictures as you want. You are now allowed. Have fun." And he did it. You just see everybody take off.
Yeah.
So, and one last thing, I got the I guess the brand new hotel, the Helios, the grand hotel that they got there. Did you see any video? Like I saw one of the rooms where they were looking out the window, and it was just like you could see the whole park from there, just like lit up at night. Oh my! I know you're probably spending a pretty penny for that room, but the view was fantastic from there.
I think it's give or take about $500 a night.
Whew. Yep.
Well, you're talking about a hotel adjacent to the park, which you have your own private entry, which brings up another key point for people to keep in mind whenever they're planning their day at Epic Universe. Epic Universe is epic.
Something like that.
The Department of Redundancy department. Every traditional theme park, for the most part, until this day, everyone has entered from the front.
Mm-hmm.
Epcot now being the exception because you can have some people coming in the back. And with that being said, this park as well, you're going to have people coming in at both ends. So if you are not staying at the Helios and you come to visit and you get there for the early park entrance,
Mm-hmm.
and you figured, I'm going to bolt it to Harry Potter because I could outrun everybody else in this line and be one of the first ones in there.
Mm-hmm.
You are booking it across this whole park, and everyone staying at the Helios walks right into Harry Potter because it is right next to
right there. And then you come running up, sweating out of breath. You go,
and there's 500 people in front of you already, and you go, what?
How? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it might be worth the $500 a night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially now they do this at the other deluxe upper class resorts that they have there, that you get the express pass complimentary for staying at the high end resorts.
Ooh, nice.
They haven't announced it for this one. You do get the early park entry, but they haven't announced that you would get that as a perk for staying at that resort.
Yeah.
At this time.
At this time.
At some point, will they do that? Yes. Are they going to do it immediately? Who knows? Are they going to be greedy about it and say, hey, you know what? You won't get it for staying there because you're right next to the theme park. That's benefit enough. And since we're booking up rooms, why give away the farm?
Yeah.
Once we start to need to sweeten the pot, then maybe we won't announce it.
Mm-hmm.
I could be completely wrong, and they could announce it next week.
That's true. Yeah, and then one last thing I saw is it's very similar. It's probably before Epic even opened. It was probably like this, but I always gone to Disney, not Universal. You can do the same kind of deal with Disney. You can bundle everything together. You got your hotel. You can do like a 3-day park or whatever. It's all very similar to what. So if you're familiar with Disney and you're like, hey, I want to go to Universal, guess what? It's pretty much similar. Just it might be reworded in a different way for Universal's thing, and just
Yeah, and I'd have to correct myself for something I misspoke.
Okay.
Last time we spoke about Epic Universe Epic, is that it's about 180, 190 per day versus Magic Kingdom's 160, 170.
Mm-hmm.
So you are actually paying more for obviously the newer, more advanced park with a fraction of the rides.
Sure. I'd rather just bundle it. Let me know what the total damage is, and then I can just go, all right, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't want to know what I paid per each thing.
Yeah, and this is when you call up Jackie York or any of our friends at MEI Mouse Fan Travel and say, I want to do this, get it done, and just tell me, just charge my card.
Yep, work
your magic. Charge the card.
Card on file, Dave? Yep.
Yep. That was declined. You have another one? You split the payment between 7 cards.
Oh boy.
Any other thoughts on Epic Universe versus Epic?
Nah, I mean, I'm looking forward to going eventually. I don't know when. Maybe 26. I pretty much said I'm not doing anything, so maybe 27. We'll
27,
see.
28.
Yeah.
29. Not going anywhere.
But the problem is I'm getting older and I want to go on those coasters. So I don't know how, 3 years down the road, I don't know if I'll still be able to go on them. The back's not getting any better there, Matthew.
This is true. Neither are the knees.
Exactly.
Just a quick note. I did watch Stephanie's Places is now available on ESPN Plus. I watched the first episode. I didn't get to the second episode yet because I'm horrible at these things. But I enjoyed it. It's light, it's fun, but it's you get a lot of different story elements and kind of behind access to the pro wrestling world that she's involved in. The first episode not only focused on CM Punk and his return back to WWE, but also her return to that world after some of the turmoil that everything went down with her dad, And when they opened up the new building in Connecticut, the new training center and everything, and just kind of in what a lot of that meant to her, because that's her childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of how it the organization and herself grew up together, and kind of, seeing people that meant a lot to her growing up being immortalized in this building, and just kind of things. It was, it's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. I mean, you mentioned that. Like, I'll get to that eventually. I just haven't had, because I just finished The Penguin, which was fantastic. I recommend that, if you're into DC stuff. And
I'm halfway through that, and even if you're not into DC stuff, it's a very well done.
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal. And then I just started. I told you I'm back on I jumped back into Doctor Who season 6. I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm like, wow, season. I don't know why I stopped. But season 6 just.
I told you not to stop.
Wow.
That is a fantastic season.
Yeah. So far, so good, man. Woo.
Told you.
Yeah.
So, but the Painted Places half hour, fun. Nothing like mind blowing. Nothing's gonna drain you. But you're gonna sit down. And you're gonna enjoy it, and you're better off for it.
Mm-hmm.
You get a couple nuggets of knowledge. Anything else, Dave?
No, sir. I think we covered it.
All right. Let's see here. Then let me finish up with a quote from our friend Walt Disney himself. My business is making people, especially children, happy. I have dedicated much of my time to the study of problems of children. And that's Walt Disney. Thank you again for listening, everyone. And on that bombshell, we will see you next time. Make sure, again, like, subscribe to the video, and check out our TeePublic store. Links to everything are in the show notes.
Later, everybody.
We'll see you next time.